So let's look at mind rehearsal. This is one of the techniques that is going to flow through to every other strategy that we're going to give you. So we're going to do an introduction to mind rehearsal now, but in the coming, I think it's next week, we're going to do the advanced techniques into mind rehearsal. But first of all, we just need to get some basic ideas. You're probably already doing it, you just don't know you're doing it. Or you haven't called it mind rehearsal, but it's about activating the imagination, activating our sensations and feelings. A lot of people call this visualization. That only touches the surface, and I like to avoid visualization, the word visualization, because some people aren't visual. And when I say visualize the such and such, some people go into a little bit of resistance around that because they don't think that they can visualize. They don't think that they can see things when they close their eyes and when they imagine stuff. And for some people, they actually don't. They don't have the brain wiring for it. Now, we can all learn how to visualize. However, some people don't do it naturally. So what we want to do is show you how you can mind rehearse your goal outcomes, your goal desires, the things you would rather do instead, rather than reaching for chocolate when you're stressed. You might want to mind rehearse that you reach for a glass of water, or you take a deep breath, or whatever it is that you're going to do instead. But if I said to you, visualize that, and you weren't a visual person, that may put up some barriers between succeeding with the outcome. For mind rehearsal, all we're doing is using and activating as many senses, sensation, feeling, textures, smell, sound, sight, if you do have a visual aspect. Now, everybody can learn how to activate more of their senses. Everybody will have a natural one or two senses that they use automatically, that they have always been their default mechanism, their default sensation, how they process sensations in the outside world. And some people it is feelings, their emotions, they call themselves feelers, or they call themselves empaths, where they feel everything that other people feel, and they can put themselves in other people's shoes automatically and feel what might be happening. For other people, they see, they can imagine stuff really easy. For other people, smell is an incredibly strong sense. For other people, taste is. So what we're going to do is ask you to activate as many senses as you possibly can each time you imagine an outcome, each time you imagine or mind rehearse how you want to be instead. And so when we're using the audios, the hypnosis programs that we do in the live therapy, as well as the hypnosis programs that we're going to put into this course as well, you will be asked to imagine yourself doing X, Y, Z, or imagine yourself doing Y, or imagine yourself doing this, or unzipping an excess layer of fat, or letting go of the excess unhelpful beliefs, etc. And what we're going to do is ask you to imagine with all of your senses that you could pretend. That's a really, really big word. And it's a very meaningful word in mind rehearsal, because we used to pretend as children when we played. That's how we played. That's how we learned how the world worked. But as adults, we forget that pretending is actually one of the ways that our brain learns. It's how we practice, if you like, the new neural pathways. And rehearsal is actually practicing like you would rehearse the lines for a play, like you would rehearse a musical instrument if you're, have a concert tomorrow. You are rehearsing the success of this thought pattern in your brain. And so that's what mind rehearsal is. And that's, if you are visual, fantastic, bring in your visual senses. But if you're not, I don't want you to even stress about that. I just want you to feel it, sense it, pretend it in any way that you can. The more you do it, the more you will activate the other senses too. So let's look at the types of things that we're looking for in a mind rehearsal. It's more than visualization. We're looking for pretending and acting as if something has already happened. So we're feeling it, more important than seeing it. So we want to activate sensations, emotions, feelings, yeah? Smells, touch, taste, flavor, excellent. Anything that you can imagine into it, anything you can imagine it might be, even if it's different to that when you finally get there, if you are helping the brain learn how to get there by imagining and creating the neural pathways like a map in your brain that your brain can now follow. And the more you mind rehearse that, the brain can follow that map more easily, and more proteins develop on the neural connections. So you're going to activate senses to help the stronger neural growth every time you mind rehearse. So you're going to imagine how it might feel as if you have already achieved this outcome. So if you're imagining that you are taking a deep breath every time you feel stressed, every time you come home from work, rather than reaching, if your normal pattern was to reach for an extra glass of wine or for a chocolate biscuit, or if you were picking and snacking all the way through preparing dinner, you're going to imagine the outcome you would rather have instead. So you might come home and you take 3 deep breaths, smile to yourself, have a glass of water and go, that was a great day. And you want to develop neural pathways where that becomes your automated response. It might be when the kids come home and they're stressed and they're all yelling or they're arguing or whatever, you're taking a deep breath and you're just sighing to yourself, releasing the tension, and your automated response is you sit down and say, come on kids, let's talk about what's going on. And you breathe into it. So you would imagine that outcome, yeah? If it is that you, when you are always stressed or when you're always angry or lonely, that you're always standing in front of the pantry wondering what I can eat now, or standing in front of the fridge and opening it 3 times throughout the night, sure that the answer's in there. Then you would imagine, if you're bored or lonely of a night time, and instead of going to the cupboard, you would imagine your outcome is that you take a deep breath, you go and do one of your audios, or you get online and do one of your exercises, or you listen to something that's motivational for you, or you turn on a song and dance in your lounge room. You imagine an outcome that is providing something for your mind to do that's stimulating healthy growth. So you're going to ask yourself, how will I feel if I've already achieved this outcome? How would I think? What thoughts would I have? I'm proud of myself. I feel really good. I handle stress well. I handle challenges well. You would imagine what you'd be wearing if it's losing weight and slimming and trimming down because you've changed these eating patterns and your body is shrinking down to the size that you want. You'd imagining what you'd be wearing, and you'd feel the textures and the fabrics and the smells of the fabric and the touch against your skin. I want you to imagine how and who you would interact with, what people would say to you, what you would say to them. I want you to hear it in your mind, pretend, play act. It's as if you're playing out a movie in your mind. Imagine the sensations, the smells, the textures. What would your body experience as you were doing that thing, that better outcome? It's all as if you have already achieved it. And what you would do once you've begun to practice with mind rehearsal techniques, if you're imagining food, for instance, and you're making a healthier choice, you might actually imagine the crunch of the vegetables or the crunch of the salad, because your response, automatic response when you go to a cafe, is that you looked at the menu and you automatically looked for the healthiest option. So you're going to imagine how proud you're going to feel. Then you're going to imagine how the sound of the crunchy salad might be, or how the different colors of the salads and the vegetables in front of you just excite you, and how bright they look and how enticing they look. You're going to imagine the smells and the aromas and how everybody says, oh my God, you're being healthy. Look at you. Aren't you amazing? And you're going to imagine the waiter serving it to you and saying, thank you, madam. And you're going to smile and say thank you as you look at your food and look excited about your food, feel excited about your food. So what we want to do with mind rehearsal is take it down into a minimum of 68-second chunks, because 68-second thinking is one of the latest brain research results, that if we activate a set of neural frequencies for a minimum of 68 seconds, every other neural frequency that is likely to wire with that frequency, so frequencies that are of the same intensity, the same kind of emotion, the same kind of outcome, the same neural chemical release, then all of those wires, those neural connections, will fire and wire together. So you end up with all of your negative wires that you've been dealing with, negative thinking, unhelpful habits, unhelpful behaviors, blame, shame, all of that. They're all wired together. Yeah, like a big Brillo pad. What we're doing is we're starting a stronger neural frequency, and we want to wire as many strong imaginings, mind rehearsals, sensations, outcomes as we possibly can. All of those new, healthy, helpful, joyous wires wiring and firing together. So in a 68-second period, once you've activated a set of neural frequencies associated with one particular outcome, any other outcome or neural frequency that's similar, that is alike, that has a similar feeling, outcome, or chemical release will wire with it. And they will be triggered because the first set were wired. So if you imagined yourself choosing a healthier option at a cafe, then you bring in feelings, sensations, any other neural pathways associated with pride, with happiness, with health, with joy will be activated within a 68-second period and over the next couple of days. So what we want to do is choose 2 or 3 little outcomes that you want to begin mind rehearsing throughout the day, and you do 68-second mind rehearsal thinking throughout the day, tied into something you automatically do. So if you're going to the toilet 2 or 3, 4 times a day and you're sitting there or standing there, then what you want to do is mind rehearse your outcome of going to a cafe, choosing a salad, feeling proud, how amazing, hearing the crunch, hearing the joy, feeling the lightness afterwards. And you do that within 68 seconds. So anything that's associated with feeling slim and healthy, light, happy, pleased with yourself, any other neural pathway will activate. So just pick for yourself 1 or 2 to begin with, outcomes that you want to begin practicing in your mind, pretending in your mind, and tie them into when you're doing your teeth or when you're standing in front of the mirror or when you're on the toilet, so that you can regularly do them throughout the day and take advantage of other times of the day that you might be just sitting there doing nothing or thinking unhelpful thoughts. You're taking control of every thought in every moment of the day that you can. So that's an introduction to mind rehearsal. Have fun with it, and any challenges, let us know on the site, on the secret page, and also on the comments below, and we can certainly help you perfect, if you like, clarify that mind rehearsal 68-second scenario that you're going to move through. And if you just want to try one out, write a little synopsis and paste it on the comments section and paste it on the secret Facebook page, and we'll just give you some feedback and tell you how you might be able to freshen it up or improve it, or which sensations, etc., to add with it. So well done. I'm really looking forward to seeing some of those scenarios that you're going to start practicing, and have fun pretending and play acting in this glorious mind of yours.